You watching this video, first of all, is a first step. Good job. I want to talk about the art of being alone. I think there's such a negative connotation of being alone because we're such social creatures. It makes sense that we want to be in a group or we want to have a sense of belongingness. And like back when the caveman days, like you need a group to survive. So it makes sense like in the evolutionary perspective. Now we're more like connected than ever with social media and also just the exposure of COVID. It can be a bit overwhelming. So it's okay to create boundaries. And I think that's like a new topic of discussion now is how to create boundaries with yourself and with others too. When you are alone, you create a social boundary. You like choose when you talk to people. You choose when you're ready to basically like go out into the social world again. And that's totally perfect. That's perfectly normal. And it's like a way of recharging and re-energizing yourself or restoring your mental energy to go back and do the things that you need to do or want to do. And then also achieving those personal goals that you have. First, I have some tips on how to be alone, but I want to differentiate two phrases of feeling alone versus being alone. So feeling alone, you can feel alone even when you're in a room of people that you know because you're not in an environment where you feel like you belong. So that's why sometimes feelings of loneliness can come in. But rather being alone is a totally different thing. Like you can be alone without even feeling alone. You can either be alone while you feel alone or you can be alone while feeling abundant. And what I mean about feeling abundant is that you feel abundant with your presence. Because I'm learning this myself, I think being abundant means just knowing that you're comfortable with yourself and you're willing to just be alone because you feel comfortable with yourself. I also want to say it's perfectly normal to feel lonely. It's not like a bad thing. It shouldn't be stigmatized or shouldn't have a negative connotation with it. It's just how you deal with it. It's how you deal with the feelings of loneliness. Would you rather fill that cup or ignore the void? So when you are alone physically, then you have the opportunity to be with yourself. So while you are with yourself, I recommend to reevaluate your values. What I mean by this is that, well, sometimes when we're with a lot of people, like for example, when you're in high school or even like in college, when you're in a dorm surrounded by so many other kids, it's very common to feel like you lost yourself. I mean, especially like when we are in our young teens, early 20s, even late 20s, I think it's really important to be alone to figure out who you are because we can easily be influenced by our other peers and like what they are doing. Even like comparing yourself is pretty common, I know that. That's why it's really important to be alone and reevaluate what you want and what you need in life. I know for me, I always reevaluate my values either in the middle of the year and then also at the end of the year. It's kind of like a 6-month cycle for me. So I'm realizing that my values really help me center myself and they help me refocus on what I should do, what I need to do when I start feeling lonely. While you are reevaluating your values, just know that it takes time. Just try with one value, focus on that, and then see what others help you make yourself a better person in the end. Another way to kind of fill in the time with yourself is to tap into things that you've always wanted to do with other people, but you never had the chance to because other people are busy. They have their own lives. It makes sense, right? You shouldn't be mad at them for living their own life, so live out yours. If you want to take that pottery class that you've always wanted to take with your friends, but you guys never had a chance to, go take that pottery class. Like if you wanted to join a club meeting that you've always were interested in, go to that. And plus you'll meet other people that maybe are trying to figure out the same thing. You can maybe meet your twin flame, which I did before. And what's most beautiful about being alone is that you get to sit with your painful depression and anxiety.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
Over time, you build this mental strength of knowing how to get out of it, which is, I think, a huge skill. When you notice that you have spiraling thoughts, you're like, wait a minute, these thoughts are irrational. Clearly, these do not apply to me, at least anymore, and I'm out of this situation. I'm doing my best by doing all these things that I've always wanted to do. Or then you can just say, oh, these are out of my control, so I'm gonna focus on things that I can control. just like affirmations you say to yourself. What's also really beautiful about being alone is that you really find value in yourself. You see how abundant you are with things and who are in your life, what you have in your life, and what you offer to the world and what you offer to yourself. Yeah, like you say, oh, you know, I am really great at art. I love art. Or, oh, like I really like tutoring. I love tutoring kids. I love planning lesson plans for them. Oh, I love reading. I feel like I can write essays upon essays on this type of essay that another essay. And that's part of expanding your mind, and you can explore your creativity and explore like what you're thinking about. And there's really no one way to be alone, so ultimately it's up to you. I remember feeling alone the beginning of, let's say, senior year, all the way up to the end of my freshman year of college. And then I realized, like, oh, I really just need myself in the end. Like, I am my home. My journey was not really pretty. I mean, like, I don't think anyone's journey is pretty or like smooth. You know, it's very non-linear, has lots of curbs. Yeah, I bumped into a lot of curbs for sure. There are a lot of learning curves as well. I'm still navigating on how to be alone. I think it's a skill that a lot of young adults will have to face, especially when we get jobs. But hey, it's up to you. It's your life. However you want to live your life, go ahead. I think that's about it. I don't really have anything else to add. This could just be a part one. It's just my perspective as a 20-year-old. Maybe my thoughts about being alone will change next year, and it'll be kind of cool to reevaluate how I see what being alone is like next year and like see how much I've grown, which I'm actually so fucking excited to see like where I go, because I have full confidence that like I'll learn a lot. Good luck with your journey, and just remember, this is the first step. You watching this video, first of all, is the first step of learning how to be alone. So good job. Well, have a great ass afternoon, morning, night, wherever you are, you know, whenever you are. I hope this video found you well in a time of need. That's about it. So yeah. Okay, bye.